Leylah Fernandez came into Washington as the defending champion and left it explaining somebody else's tennis. She had beaten Alex Eala in Stuttgart in April, and in Washington, she led the second set 5-1 before losing the match anyway.
Tough loss today. Just when it became 5-1 in the second, just what do you think kind of switched? Was it more of what Alex changed her game, or just something on your end, your perspective on that?
Oh, I mean, I was talking a little bit with my coaches, and I guess for myself, well, first of all, today I wasn't playing my best and kind of tried to switch it up a little bit in the second set, and it was working. And at 5-1, I guess I wanted it too much and started reverting back to how I played in the first set, which obviously it didn't help. And I started making more mistakes, forcing some errors, and
to be fair to Fernandez, she sat down afterwards and answered the question straight, which is more than a lot of players manage on the night a title defense ends. What she said in that room is the clearest account anybody on this tour has given of what changed. 4 more players were asked versions of it inside a fortnight, and not one contradicted her. We're going through all of it, so give the video a like and subscribe. Eala arrived in Washington unseeded and ranked 28. Fernandez was the 7th seed and defending champion, and the draw put them together in the second round. Eala won 6-2, 7-6, 1 from 1-5 down in the second set, with Fernandez 1 game from leveling it. A defending champion is not usually asked to review the player who just took the title off her. Fernandez answered like a scout rather than a runner-up.
1-5 comeback. From the outside looking in, I feel like she might have gained a reputation of just being a fighter or maybe a tough opponent to close out in sets or just the matches overall. Can you maybe speak to that in your opinion, and do you feel like maybe that could be on your mind, or sometimes as a player, especially specifically against her, when you're trying to close out sets like that, when you've seen her come back in other matches like that?
Well, the truth was I didn't think about that at all today. I mean, I was 5-1 up. I was playing well, doing the right patterns, and again, I think I said it earlier today that I wanted it too much, where I started being overly aggressive. I changed my own tactic, which was pretty dumb of me, but
So what was different about the player she beat in April? She named it in one word, then explained the word. Honestly, Alex has been playing really well. I think the biggest thing is that she's playing with a lot of confidence. She's trusting herself, trusting her shots, her patterns, and a lot of her balls are going in. So that's the big difference. I feel like she's progressing well. Whatever she's doing with her team is working. Yeah. Confidence out of a losing player is normally a polite word for somebody else having a good week. Fernandez used it far more narrowly, and she offered no bad day, no injury, and no complaint about the schedule beside it. The patterns are the ones Eala has always had, and what Fernandez called the big difference is that the balls land now. Then came the part that should bother the rest of the locker room. Fernandez was asked whether she had advice for a 21-year-old going through what she went through at 19 in New York, and she would not give any. I think for myself, growing up, the difficulty was managing expectations, Fernandez said. Mainly expectations from myself and being mature enough to understand that wins and losses are things that I can't control. Sometimes my best tennis is not going to get me the win, but the uglier tennis will. So just being able to accept that and being mature enough to do that. That was part of my experience that I wish that I had learned back then. Maybe it would have helped me now, maybe not. I don't know. I can't change the past. So for Alex, again, I don't know what to tell her. She's doing a great job up to now, and I know she has a great team around her. Read that one twice. Fernandez has lived exactly what Eala is living right now, and she had a warning loaded and ready, and she decided Eala did not need it. Fernandez was not even the first person in her own box to reach that, and that happened back in April. In the middle of a match, she was comfortably winning. The two of them had never met on a professional court before this season. In the Stuttgart first round in April, on heavy indoor red clay, Fernandez was 25 in the world and Eala was 45, and Fernandez won it 6-1, 6-4 in an hour and 29 minutes. It was Eala's third first-round exit of 2026, and it landed a week after she went out early in Linz, so clay was still the surface where the case against her held up. The scoreline reads like a formality, and it was not one. Fernandez took the first set for the loss of a single game and led the second 5-2, then failed to serve the match out, lost 2 match points on Eala's serve, and found herself at 0-30 on her own serve at 5-4. Asked on court by Sky Sports how she had steadied it, Fernandez repeated what her box had told her in that exact game. Honestly, it's what my coach told me at 0-30, 5-4. He said, she's not going to go down easy as you can see. She's going to fight. You're going to have to take the match. So I was glad that I trusted him, and I trusted the training that we'd done. So, happy to get the win here. Rating her own night, Fernandez called it 7 out of 10, said it had been an 8 or 9 until 6-1, 5-2, and put the wobble down to a lapse of concentration. Sit with that instruction for a second, because the timing of it is the whole point. A set and 2 breaks up against the world number 45 on that player's worst surface in a first round nobody had circled. The message coming out of the coaching box was that this one would not finish itself and would have to be taken, and Fernandez trusted him and took it. 3 months later, she held the same lead over the same player and did not take it. Same 2 left-handers, same left-handed serve to read, same cushion in the same set, and a completely different ending. The warning had not changed at all, and the player it was written about had. So was anybody on tour surprised by that week in Washington? Not one of them, and they had been saying so out loud for a month. Look at what Eala walked through in 9 days. Zheng Qinwen, then Fernandez, then Alina Svitolina, the second seed, 6-3, 6-4. Naomi Osaka in the semifinals, 6-4, 6-2. Then Jessica Pegula, the top seed, 4-6, 6-4, 6-0, in a final reign shoved into the Monday. 5 wins, the top 3 seeds among them, and the first WTA Tour singles title won by any player from the Philippines. Svitolina had lost to her in Berlin 5 weeks earlier, and asked about the rematch, she said nothing about Eala's game. Tomorrow is a new surface, new country, a new city, so it's a new challenge, she told WTAtennis.com. And hopefully I'm going to draw some confidence from today's match and carry it into tomorrow. That is a player hoping the change of court does the work for her. Osaka, asked about Eala in Washington on 26 July, days before they had ever shared a match, called her a star and an amazing player who was really cool for people to look up to. Pegula, the only one of the 4 who had beaten Eala, gave the technical answer. She's tricky to play against, she said. She's a lefty, she hits the ball well, she kind of baits you with her lefty serve. On the serve, she went further. The ball is kind of below the net, and you're having to hit up on the ball. Anytime you have to do that, it can be really tricky. Before the final, Pegula called Eala the future of the tour, and added that she was already here. Then she lost 8 games in a row. At the ceremony, she called Eala an amazing player again, and said of the crowd that turned a Washington final into an away match that it was not fun to play against. Did any of them name something to attack? One description of a serve from the only opponent with a win over her, and nothing else from anybody. Fernandez, asked about her again in Toronto days later, called Eala a friend and a nice girl, then said something odder. Unfortunately, I don't have her number, so it's weird because I don't give out my number to a lot of people, especially on tour. And then this, I only saw her walking onto the court, and I didn't want to kind of mess her concentration up. Nobody wants to be the one who disturbs it.
She's a tough player. She's playing with a lot of confidence. She's trusting herself. So like she's always in the match, whether she's down or whether she's up. So she's playing well this year, and for myself, I just need to focus and see what I need to do better when I am up in the score.
The tour did finally get an answer on August 9th from Belinda Bencic, who beat Eala 6-4, 6-0 in the Toronto 4th round to end a 7-match winning streak. Eala had rolled her ankle 2 days earlier against Katie McNally, and Bencic broke her in every second-set service game while losing none of her own. Eala still left at a career-high 20 in the world. That result deserves saying out loud, and it does not undo the fortnight in front of it. What it is the first evidence in a month that there is a way to play her. Cincinnati is where this gets tested, and the main draw opens today. Eala goes in as the 17th seed, the highest she has ever been seeded at this level, which buys her a bye through the first round. And she is defending nothing there at all. Every match she wins over the next 10 days is added to a season rather than subtracted from one. And there is barely another player in the top 20 who can say that this month. The question has moved, and it is worth being exact about where it has moved to. It is no longer whether Eala can beat a top 10 player on a good day, because she took out the top 3 seeds inside 1 week, and the results are in the record book. It is whether the tour works her out before she finishes working the tour out. So what does a coaching box actually do with her now? Bencic sketched one plan in 73 minutes. Rush the serve, hit through her early, keep the match short, and never let it become the long fight that Fernandez's coach was warning about back in April. Every box on this tour has that tape now, and every one of them has the Washington tape as well. And those 2 files tell completely different stories about the same player inside 8 days. The honest forecast is a split one. If Eala comes out of Ohio and then New York with 2 more deep runs, what Fernandez describes stops being a hot fortnight and starts being a level, and the seedings catch up with her well before the autumn. If she loses early twice, the sport gets to spend September arguing about how much of Washington was the week and how much of it was the player. That is really the whole question now, and it gets answered on court rather than in a press room. The part that does not move either way is what Fernandez put on the record with every excuse in the world available to her. She was the last player to hold a winning position over Eala and let it go. And the reason she gave was not the draw, not the schedule, and not her own concentration. It was that the shots go in now. Everyone else in Ohio is about to find out how long that stays true. And that is where this sits, folks. Leylah Fernandez, the one player on tour who has lived this herself, describing in a Washington press room exactly what she had just run into, with 4 more of the world's best saying versions of it inside a fortnight. Do you think anybody on the WTA has an answer for Eala right now? Do you think Fernandez was being generous or just accurate? And how deep does Eala go in New York? Let us know in the comments, hit subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.